Guess it's going to rain. Today's video, I'm going to walk you through about 6 critical steps. Really kick off your lawn season if you want to have a really nice looking lawn this year. We're going to go over that real quickly. And then I'm also going to take you up and I'll show you some changes and plans we have for both our fields, our gardens, and something weird I'm going to try and do. I'm going to try and put in a little mushroom farm up here. I've never done it before, so I'm going to try it. So here we go. Okay, so step number 1 is make sure you have the lawn guides, freelawncareguide.com. There's a QR code somewhere around here. Either I'll build a page or that'll link directly to them. Over 3 million people have used these things, and the reason is because we don't want your information. We don't ask for your email. We don't want you to sign up for anything. We don't want anything. We built these websites years ago, and there's calendars, there's questions and answers. So if you have worms, if you have bugs, if you have fungus, what type of fertilizer, pre-emergence, all that stuff, there's all those answers on there. Now that's the website for cool season. At the top, there's a link to the Bermuda website and the Zoysia website. Once you go there, bookmark it, because we're not going to send you any notifications or emails after that. So if you lose it, you lose it. So use them. Next, I have got out here. One of the rules I have on this property is that I never want to see dirt. So I always want to have roots in the ground out here. One of the reasons being it's not only good for soil health, but I have a beautiful pond over here and I want to keep it clean. We got 2 inches of rain last week. We got more rain coming in, and most of the ponds around here are like muddy brown. It's because they don't have roots in the ground everywhere. So we maintain green everywhere. So I do have some green grass around here. Unfortunately, because of last week's temperatures, or 2 weeks ago the temperatures, we dropped down to like 12 degrees. The lawns are kind of struggling. So I came out here real quick, and what I did was I added some more winter rye seed out here, and then I put down fertilizer. Yes, I'm fertilizing in February. Why? You fertilize when you have something that's green and growing, and that's when you fertilize, basically. There is an exception to that. I'll tell you in a minute. I have, this is kind of weird back here. During the summer, this is mostly Bermuda, but I have some old perennial rye. You can see that kind of yellow patch in there. This is mostly annual rye, the dark green. It's really weird looking, and I'll show you the different areas and what I'm doing. So let's go over rule number 2. Number 1, get the lawn guides. Rule number 2 is prepare early. So what I'm going to tell you is if you need pre-emergent in 4 weeks, or 3 or 4 weeks, and you try and order it, it'll probably be out of stock. So make a list and think about what's coming up over the next 30, 60, 90 days, and actually pre-order the stuff. And I'll put links to everything. But I just got in, this week I got in several boxes, and we moved it all up to my building. I'll go up there and show you. I've got pre-emergent, I've got bug killer, I've got fertilizers, I've got dirt booster plus, everything that I'm going to need over the next 90 days. I have it in stock up here already. Don't wait till the last minute. Next, pre-emergent. This is the time where you're going to start to think about pre-emergent. I just did a really long video, probably too long, talking about pre-emergents and some of the rules and why they work, why they don't work, how to apply them, how not to apply them. So that's a big long video that's up on the channel. Go watch that video. But pre-emergent will help with weed control, but at the same time, this is a little bit different advice than what you'll hear. Is I like to put out a light coat of fertilizer at the same time. And someone in the comments said, at the same time? Yes, at the same time. Why? Let's face it, you haven't really done anything soil health wise out here all winter long. Your soil's just been sitting here, and putting down a light coat of fertilizer, balanced fertilizer, those nutrients take a long time to work into the soil. So potassium, phosphorus, micros, all those things, they can take weeks, if not months, to work down into the root zone. So I like to put out a light coat. Now, I'm not trying to wake up my lawn early. That's not my goal. My goal is to have some nutrients in the soil, so when my lawn wakes up, it wakes up into an environment that is receptive, that there's nutrients there. It's not waking up into that dead old winter soil. So yes, a light coat. Now you can use PGF Balance, which is an all fast release 10-10-10, but right now I'm kind of switching over to PGF Complete. And the reason being is I don't need nitrogen really, and the nitrogen in PGF Complete is slow release, so it kind of works out a little bit better. light coated PGF Complete, and you're all set. Soil test. Let's talk about soil test. I'll link to an online soil test you can get from Amazon, and it works fairly well. If you haven't done a soil test recently, get one done just to see if there's, the only thing I really look at is I'm going to look at my pH, and I'm looking for real crazy spikes. I'm not going to go nuts over the fact that my potassium is a little bit high. No, I'm looking for big spikes. That's all I care about. I'm looking for huge spikes, or I'm looking for something like a pH that's way out of whack. So my pH is 3.9 when it should be about a 6. And I know I'm going to have to put down some lime, which sucks because lime is hard to do. Okay, so the other day I came out here before the rain and I put down some seed. I put down some more annual ryegrass seed out here, and I put down some DGL. Now, what is DGL? Let me go out to the pond front while I'm explaining it. DGL, all fast release fertilizers, typically all fast release fertilizers are like marbles. They're big chunky stuff, and it's just the particle distribution is horrible. So when you put out that large particle fertilizer, it's like there's a piece here and a piece here and a piece here, and all the grass can't get that nitrogen. So I asked Anderson's to develop this, and it's a micronized, it's kind of like Green Shocker, it's a micronized all fast release nitrogen with super fine particles. And so it's a great way if you just need some nitrogen, which generally that's kind of what most lawns need, especially in the spring. They need to just that bump of nitrogen. DGL is a great way to go. Now you can piggyback that. So let's say you come out and you put down a coat of, let's say you put down a coat of PGF Complete, a balanced fertilizer, whatever. A couple weeks later, you're like, man, my lawn really could use a little bit more nitrogen. Come out with a light coated DGL. You've already got down your balanced fertilizer. Now let's pump up the nitrogen a little bit. So temperatures are creeping up, so everything's starting to turn green. Put out a light coated DGL, water it in. So out here, normally I don't fertilize around my pond, but I put out the fast release, and then I started watering before the rains came. Now, one way you can tell, here's an interesting little thing. If you have dogs that pee on your lawn or wildlife, you can tell if your lawn needs more nitrogen by looking at those pee spots or those areas. So I'm going to show you something over here. Now, I don't know if this is dog pee or if this may be, actually, I have blue heron that comes over here and he poos a lot over here. But see these dark green spots? So in the middle, this has to be pee. So in the middle, it's dead, okay? That's that concentration of pee, but around it, you can see how dark green that is. Same thing, see these dark green spots? In the center of it will be dead, and then around it will be green. And that's because as that urine spreads out, it becomes basically nitrogen and feeds. Now in the center, it's too strong, it kills, but around it, you're gonna see dark green. So that tells me this grass needs nitrogen. If I see those dark green spots like that, it needs nitrogen. It's kind of a funny thing to understand. So is there anything else that you should be doing when your lawn is waking up? A lot of people ask, should I do core aeration? And really, I like to do core aeration when my lawn is actively growing. I don't like to do it right in the spring. Now, what's the next tip? If you have a warm season lawn that you are going to be scalping, this is not a bad time to start pre-scalp. And what do I mean? If you have a long warm season grass that's dormant and you go out and try and do full scalping, you will just wear yourself out. It's a long, hard couple of days usually. So what you can do is just start bringing it down little by little. Just run the mower over it and bring it down, bring it down, bring it down. Now, what height should you scalp at? Well, when do you scalp? I like to scalp when I start to see that green haze everywhere from that warm season grass is starting to warm up. What height should you scalp at? I say at least half of your growing height. What does that mean? So that means if you want to have, let's say, an 1.5 inch long warm season grass, you need to scalp down half of that. What, 3/4? Is that the right math? 3/4. So if you want to have a 1 inch lawn, you want to scalp down to at least 1/2 inch. Now, we used to keep the old Bermuda lawn at the house, which was sod. We used to keep that at about 3/4 inch, nice and tight. Well, I would try and take it down to dirt, basically. I mean, I just wanted it all gone. if you don't scalp anything that's brown remaining when that other grass comes up, every time you cut your lawn, you're gonna see that brown grass. It's gonna look ugly. It's gonna show through. So that's why we scalp. The challenge is not everybody has a reel mower. And so how do you scalp down that low? Maybe borrow a friend's push mower. Once you start getting it down, borrow a push or something. You gotta try and get it as low as possible. But it's hard without a reel mower to take it down that low. This does not look that bad. Again, I came out here, I put down some more just cheap annual ryegrass seed, and I was gonna do pre-emergent. I'm gonna hold off for a couple weeks on the pre-emergent. I did have over the years, I've had a crabgrass and a goosegrass problem out here, but in about 2 or 3 days from now, we're getting back down to probably 19 degrees. So I'm not going to put down my pre-emergent yet. I'm going to wait until I constantly have that 55 degree sort of soil temperature. So when my temperatures are constantly in the 70s, probably in another month or so, I'll come out here and put down some pre-emergent. But right now, this area looks great. So those are kind of the guidelines I like to do for just to sort of get ready for the season. And just think ahead, because I'm warning you, thank God we're not in COVID anymore, where supply chains were an issue. It's not as bad anymore, but still, don't get caught off guard and all of a sudden everything is sold out and you can't get it. Let me take you up to the fields and let me show you some cool stuff I'm thinking about up there, including that little mushroom farm. Okay, so it's the next day. Yesterday, I'll take you up here and show you, but I was out there working and it was like almost 80 degrees, 75, 80 degrees. I literally was sweating. I was in a t-shirt sweating. But this morning, I woke up at 4:30, my normal farm time, and it was pouring rain. We got a ton of rain, which we need because the whole state is under drought conditions. But I've got DGL, dark green lawn, all fast release nitrogen here on top of this annual rye. That's all I need right now. And man, let me tell you what, you get a little rain, a little fertilizer on something, and it really pops. So I'm up here in these upper fields right now. When we first started working on this property, we had a ton of trees taken out, and I let my guys grind up all the trees and put them into wood piles. And it's incredible. I had 10, 15-foot stacks of wood chips, and they have degraded down to just a little bit. So what I want to do is I want to take my tractor and I want to come in and spread these wood chips out all back in this area to maybe a foot deep or so, and buy some mushroom seeds or spores, whatever you call them, and try and plant mushrooms back in here. It's a great substance food as far as, it's like 15 to 25% protein, and I love mushrooms. That would be kind of cool. I don't know if it'll work, but hell, it might be fun to try. In the fields, last year we planted corn. We mainly maintain these fields for the wildlife and the deer, and I think what I'm going to do is this year I'm going to plant a little bit later. I think I planted too early last year, and it's tough to do that because you hit summertime droughts, but we have irrigation up here. So I'm going to plant my corn a little bit later, but we do plant turnips, purple top turnip and clover and radish and chicory, all in these fields. And then I feed those greens to the chickens as well too. But yeah, that's where we are up here. Let me show you what I've got going over here in the gardens and what I'm working on early. If you haven't tested your irrigation system, there's a chance that some of your valves, because of the hard freezes that we had, some of those valves may have frozen and cracked. And so I recommend right now you actually turn on your irrigation system and test them, or run them quite a bit. And look for pockets. If you have a bad valve station, a lot of times you'll see just water pooling up. The reason why I say do it now is if you wait for a couple months and try and get an irrigation repair guy out, good luck. That's when they're going to be busy. Right now they're not busy. So you can get an irrigation guy out to your property to fix any of your valve stations, but check them. So don't just look at the spray heads that are spraying. Actually let it run for a good 5 minutes and then go out wherever your valve stations are in your yard and look for them. You'll see like puddles of water if you have a break. So over here I have some topsoil, I have sand, and then I have our compost piles. Now our compost piles, I take the chicken manure inside the chicken houses, which has pine chips and wheat straw, and it's full of chicken poo and urea. and I bring that over. We mix it into old compost and whatever else. We put Dirt Booster Plus down, and then sometimes I'll even spray some Lawn Alive, because it's really hard to get these piles active this time of year because they're cold. But also I have some old chicken feed, chicken crumbles, and you can put chicken crumbles in your compost pile. I'll show you here in a minute, but basically a compost pile needs water, it needs moisture, it needs oxygen, and it needs clean food. And of course it needs temperature. It needs to be warmed up a little bit. So the clean food that we're putting in here is the Dirt Booster Plus. It also has biochar, which has humichar inside of it, which has the humic acid and biochar, and has mycorrhizal fungi. It's all we use in our vegetable garden. So the vegetable garden that's over here can produce 1,500 to 3,000 pounds of produce every year. We pulled 1,000 tomatoes out last year. It was crazy. We're actually toning it down. We're actually cutting this garden in half because we gave it to the chickens, and I'm opening up that new garden over here to different plants. But yesterday I came out here, I took all that chicken waste and I put Dirt Booster Plus, I put some chicken crumbles down, I put a little bit of Lawn Alive on here. It's just really hard. It's just really hard to get these things to activate. I don't even think I have, yeah, I got a shovel. I'm gonna just pop it open. I don't think it's active right now, but we want these things to fire up, and when they become active, you'll see that temperature bump up to between 100 and 150 degrees. It's easy in the summertime to get these things active, but when it's cold out here, no luck. Okay, so we've talked about the fields, compost piles. Bubba, my bad rooster, who now free ranges out here, will probably come out. Hey Bubba, what you doing? What you doing, Bubba? There he is. Hi Bubba, what you doing? What you doing, buddy? Did you have a good night? Did you have a good night? You do, you peck on the ground. That's your way of saying hi, isn't it? So this whole area used to be vegetable garden. We moved it out, covered it with hawk netting. Now the chickens have a big outside area, expanded run. This area will now be partial of our garden. And again, we keep this green 365 days a year. There's clover, there's annual ryegrass, all that stuff. Then what we're doing is I'm expanding. Last year we put in a squash garden over here, which is pretty good. I'd say it's like 30 feet wide, 35 by 80 or 35 by 90. It's a big garden. And it produced a huge amount of squash last year. Everything from pumpkins to butternut to spaghetti squash to you name it, cantaloupes, watermelons. So we're taking this, and I'm going to make this more of a primary for tomatoes and peppers, because you end up, if you keep working the same crop in the same soil, you'll carry over a lot of those soil-borne diseases. So I'm going to let that rest, and we're going to put it over here. I ran a subsoiler in here. We don't really till a lot. We're kind of a no-till, except for when we're putting something in the ground like a dirt booster. A subsoiler is a hook. I'll show it to you here in a second. Is a hook that drops down. We have hardpan at 12 to 18 inches. And hardpan is a layer, it's almost like concrete, this red clay. And it drops down, and I ran it in here. So you see those bumps, that's the subsoiler. Then I put clover and annual rye, roots in the ground, roots in the ground, roots in the ground. We'll take that compost, we'll put it on these rows in here, and that's where we'll plant. Again, we don't need synthetic fertilizers up here because we use that system. All right, so here's my John Deere, and here's the subsoiler hook. It just drops down to the soil about that deep, and it just rips. And it just lifts. It lifts a hole. But you can see right here, all of this right here. So I have dark green lawn. I have the double kill bug product if I need it. I've got the Barricade Pre-Emergent. I've got PGF Complete, and I've got Dirt Booster Plus down there. So all these came in this past week. So I'm pretty much stocked up, and that's what you really need to do, is be prepared a little bit ahead of time. Have that stuff sitting on a shelf, and then when you need it, you can just go grab a bag and put it out. So if you have any questions, drop a comment down below. I'll try and drop it. Don't forget, get the lawn guides. Give me a thumbs up if you like it, and I'll talk to you later. Doc.